I feel like I was so immature and so young for my age. Like I was 27 when I got signed, but really I was 13.
Really?
And at 32, I was like 17. And at 35, I was 20.
But you came across as so sophisticated.
Thank you, Warner Brothers, for marketing me that way.
Yeah, you were good.
Listen, I've always been sophisticated.
But also,
I've always been sophisticated. No, listen, I played a character. And for so many years, I found the superhero that I wanted to be, the alter ego that I wanted to be.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And so all of the people that I ever looked up to, all the guys that I thought were so cool, and like, you know, I wanted to have I wanted to sort of have all of these characteristics that I thought were so hip, you know, and they were Teflon, and I was so young and I didn't know who I was, and so when I went on stage, I would find all of these, you know, I would find like the coolness of Steve McQueen and that sort of the humor of, I don't know, you know, some of my favorite actors, and I would sort of put them all together and become this character.
Mm.
And so I had no idea who I was unless I was on stage, because in real life I was just a kid, you know. But it worked. I faked it until I made it.
I have Baha that I've constructed,
Yes.
which is super high energy and a certain strength, and then I have BB, which is the softer, more vulnerable, very stripped back version of me. And I have softened as I've gotten older.
Mm.
It's really interesting for me to hear some of your experience and the world that you occupy, that you gave yourself permission at a certain age, at a certain stage, because of something that was so seismic in your universe.
Sure.
It opened up, you know, your desire to front up as the core you.
Part of that was honestly was a fundamental. There was an explosion where the question I kept saying, well, nothing matters.
Yeah.
None of this shit matters. All that matters is me being me and kind and good, and I was broken down. That's all I cared about was, you know, just trying to, you know, thank the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, for
all of them,
for giving me this, my son. I always liked fragrance, sure. Like I used to wear in high school.
Tell me.
Oh
Can
my
I
God.
pick Eternity?
I loved Eternity.
Dracan
Can
Wow.
I be honest with you? I still love Eternity for me.
Yeah, everyone loves
That
it.
smell is
It's
so
my
good.
first kiss.
Talk-
It's my
me
first-
too.
It's
And so like it was that's exactly right. So it's like,
everyone's first kiss. You
and like
smell
I like
Eternity.
Jupe. It was weird, but it
Yup.
smelled good, and it was like
Sugar.
obsession. This company comes to me and they go, here's a boatload of money to do a perfume.
Okay.
And I say no.
Oh, you said no?
I said no. I don't want to do it. I'm not that guy.
Did you say
I'm
in
not-
20 years I'm going to meet this girl whose only dream is to make a perfume, and she's going to step in for
So
me?
I wrote my dad an email and I was like, Dad, this is a lot of money and I don't like it. In my gut, it's saying no. And he went, how much money? And I sent him the amount of money and he said, you're an idiot if you don't do this. So I still have, I would like to think that I have not only business acumen, but I'd like to think that I have a lot of pride. And so I called my manager and I said, okay, Bruce, I will do this, but I need full control. And he said, what do you mean? I said, I want to go to the chemist. I want to be with the perfumers. I said,
He wanted to pick the flowers. He wanted
You think
to
I'm
pick
joking?
the flowers.
I went and flew and spent 3 days.
Grass.
No, I went to the whatever it's called, where they call,
Provence and...
no, where they make the chemical
in the labs.
in the labs.
Oh, okay.
And I literally went, I drove them crazy. By invitation, it took me so long. I had 6 test bottles and they kept going, we need to go. And I said, we're not going. We're not doing it.
I bet they loved you in
They
that
hated
lab.
Well, then it got worse. Then, can I have that bottle?
Yes, this is, well, I really like it.
Then-
It feels like a labor of love.
then-
I'm sad to hear this.
We made this. And I was like, okay, this is good. I love this. Then they brought me the prototype bottle.
Yeah. I love
And I
that.
was in a dressing room getting ready for a show, and the bottle came, and they were like, we've made however many thousand of these. And I went, this looks cheap.
Oh.
I don't like the cover. I don't like the shape. I don't like this tone. I don't like the thing. I don't like the
Script.
the script. I named this. I came up with something like 3,000 different names. I was in, well, you know what? I had worked my ass off for years to earn the respect and trust of an audience. And I wasn't going to throw it away so they could throw my
I
name
respect that.
on something. So I like dove in, and then it became something that I was passionate about, because then I knew I could not go. I kept saying to my manager, I'm not going to go. I'm not doing interviews. I'm not sitting with journalists. I'm not going to hawk something and it sucks. And so it was important for me. And then this came, they went back. It cost them a bunch of money. I think people wanted to kill me.
You know what I'm interested in? Something that you said. You talked about the partnership you have with your fragrance company.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've signed a lot of contracts
Mm-hmm.
in the past 20 years of your career. And as you said, you were 27 when you first started, so you have a very different approach, and perhaps you're excited that people are paying you attention and they want you, so you do a different deal. And now at 47, it's a really different way of doing business.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm hearing is that it's the love, the respect,
Totally.
the trust that is what is so attractive and important to you. And I'm wondering if those values meant as much to 27-year-old you as they do to 47-year-old you.
They always did. I mean, listen, I was 27 when I got signed, but I was 16 when I started working
Wow.
at the club. So it's been more than half my life. But yeah, I mean, you know the reason I got here and the reason that you're here. And you don't get here and you don't stay here because you're lucky. And you don't get here and stay here because you're so nice and courteous. You're all those things.
But you do have a great reputation.
Sure, but I'm also tough. I also I have a deep, high expectation for the people I work with, for the people that I work for the people who work for me, that we all conduct business in the same way. This is going to sound so rudimentary, but my dad is a big part. He's my business partner, and we would go to restaurants, and he would always say to me, son, if people feel they're being respected and given value for the hard-earned money, they'll always come back. They'll always come back. But the moment they feel like you've disrespected them, the moment they feel, and by the way, it isn't a matter of can they afford it or can't they afford it. It's not how much, it's the principle.
Mm.
And so for me, it was always about the principle. And one of the coolest days ever was when this came out. They went and they had some like 60 journalists in New York, and they booked all these rooms, and they smelled it. And every interview, before the interview would start, I'd now talked to these people for years and years, but before the interview started, they'd say, "Good for you. It's really good.